What's up, everybody? My name's Tyler. This is Sean. We're with Rendered Reality, and today on our show, we have Blair Renaud from Lo-Fi. How we doing, Blair?
I'm all right. How are you?
We're good. We're good.
It's
Renaud.
We're good. It's Renaud
Renaud?
for those
Is that what
people
it
that
is?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Sure, how to
perfect.
say that.
Yeah.
D is
Absolutely.
silent. No, it's okay. I'm used
Nice.
to that.
Yeah.
Nice.
We actually didn't know that. Yeah, we go through the same thing with names and stuff. We actually don't usually project our names out there. We used to actually go by Schmitty and Stangerism, but you know what? That's all out the window. We go by our real names now. So
Yeah.
Stangerism. I think
Yeah.
there's a cream for that now, I think.
yeah, maybe. If the girls would have known that a long time ago.
So
But thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, why don't you
Yeah, no problem.
give us a little intro about your background? Some people might not know who you are and what you've been working on.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, I'm Blair. I'm the CEO and creative director of Iris VR Inc. We did Technolust. It's a launch title for the Rift. And we're working on Lo-Fi, which is for all PC VR headsets. I'm like an old school VR developer. I started at Rockstar like 23 years ago. Worked on the original Grand Theft Auto, like the top-down
Wow.
kind of
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
old
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
Man.
Quarantine, a lot of like old PC games that nobody's ever heard of. And not people have heard of them, but just
Sure.
not this generation.
Yeah,
maybe.
not
For a while,
recently.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Man, yeah, I actually didn't know you participated in GTA. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah. So the company I worked for was called Game Tech, and then they were bought by Rockstar. So we ended up doing for the Grand Theft Auto, the original game, we made an expansion pack called London 1969.
Yep.
So I did like the whole London map and like all the sound for it and everything. It won a BAFTA for sound, but I didn't get it. Rockstar
Really?
got it.
Oh, man.
It's kind of annoying because like
Yeah.
if you look at the credits, it's like sound editing Blair Renaud, sound design Blair Renaud, and then the BAFTA goes to Rockstar.
Oh, man, that's
Sitting in an office in New York somewhere.
you figure.
I guess that's how
that
that
would
kind
have
of stuff
been
works, unfortunately.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's
Man.
crazy.
Yeah, I actually remember that expansion. I remember all the what were the taxi cars back in the day, the black cars from overhead.
Yeah.
Those
the
were
black
great.
taxis.
Yep, I remember that. That was great.
They had,
I love that expansion.
I think we had Hare Krishnas, where the original had something else. I don't remember what it was. Yeah, there was a lot of like small differences.
Oh man, I love that game. I still go back every once in a while and try and get into it, but
Oh man, I watch a video of it every once in a while, and I'm like, oh my god, I can't.
can't believe,
Can't
walking
even
up to the
think about it
telephone
anymore.
booths and stuff.
I played it way too much too. It's like when you worked on something for so long and then you go back to it, it's just like we did a real-time strategy game also called Dark Colony, and I basically like I came up with a story and I made all these like multiplayer maps, but I played it forever for like a year, and now it's like I can't even play any real-time strategy game. I'm just like, nope, I'm done with those. I know how they work from the inside. I don't. It just stresses me out thinking about it now.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. It's a totally different mindset too, developing on something flat overhead like that, and now jumping, this far ahead. Now doing something for VR, I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it has to be so different, the mindset, because everything you see isn't directed. As in flat games, everything you see is what's presented to you, but in VR, it is what you
can look anywhere you want to look.
Right.
And
yeah. Well, so that's something that's amazing about VR, though, and that's something I'm trying to like capitalize on, is that it is more like a holodeck program, right? Like you need to build this world, and you don't know what the player is going to do. So, sorry, my phone's a little floppy. I don't have anything to prop it up on. It's on my knee right now. I just hope I don't switch the reverse button and everyone can see my feet up on my desk.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but it's like it's fun for me to make a VR thing because it's just like building the world and kind of planning for contingencies, right? Like
sure.
What if the player decides to just go over there and do that? And it's a completely different thing. And I don't think a lot of people are kind of using that philosophy yet. They're still kind of like trying to do a really directed experience, you know, like, like I can't even handle playing the tutorial level for Technolust anymore. I was like, man, I shouldn't have done that, you know, like it's just, and like puzzles and all these like tropey things that we do to kind of keep people in a straight line and make sure they know what they're doing. It's like all that stuff feels terrible to me in VR now. It's like, I don't want to sit through a tutorial. I don't want to get frustrated by a puzzle. So it's like, I think, I hope there's more stuff like that. To be honest, I don't play a lot of other people's VR stuff, so I don't know where we're at now. like maybe people are getting better at that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, you probably you learned a lot from Technolust, I'm sure, as well.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I bet. Totally. I mean, you have to. I mean, by the time you're done with it and you have a final product, and then you play through it and you know what it is, the ins and outs. You probably see too, the direction that people go with things. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. With VR, there's so much freedom inside. You just want literal freedom to do whatever you want.
Technolust was actually out before we even had touch controllers, so that game was actually built for a gamepad, and then later you added the touch support. But that's great.
Yeah, and I get a lot of feedback from it too, right? And like even the really terrible like 1-star feedback, I'll take that to heart a little bit, because somebody will be like, "Oh, this game sucks. I couldn't figure out how to get out of the first apartment or whatever." And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like I shouldn't have ever tracked you in the first apartment. It's like, I mean, like, I don't think the game sucks, but
right. But like, that's a hard statement to make. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but I agree that like, it's, you don't want to, because it was kind of like a puzzle thing. And if somebody doesn't want to play a puzzle game, then I shouldn't force them into that, right? It should be
right. But I mean, you were one of the pioneers though in VR. I mean, there was no real time or you couldn't even look at what everybody else was doing because it was so early back then.
No, that's right. Yeah, I mean, kind of had to try everything and see what's
absolutely
stuck. Right.
Oh yeah.
So a lot of people are telling me I'm quiet. My mic is quiet, so I have turned that up some. Hopefully that's a little bit better. They said they can hear you guys okay. Mine was a little quiet, but hopefully that's a little better.
It's probably better that way anyways.
Yeah, probably so.
Sounds fine to me. I can hear.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So have you done any testing now on any of these newer headsets that have come out, or what is your core developing headset that you do trial stuff in?
Well, I develop on the Rift CV1. I don't even think it's the final one. I think it might just be a prototype one, but it's close enough. Just because developing on the Rift is super easy because you can just like plop the headset on and sit at the computer, right? I don't think my wife would appreciate it if I set lighthouses up in the living room. And even if I did, I'd have to like get up to test, right? So the Rift is for development. I've got a, what do you call it? Rift S over on a better machine for like just looking at how it can look with higher resolution and everything. The game has a universal camera rig developed by Mark Schramm from what's he from? What do I say Mark is from? He just worked on the Super Hot port to Quest. He's my lead programmer. So he's made a universal rig that just automatically knows what headset you have on, and will switch the whole game over. So right now it works with Steam VR, Oculus, Windows Mixed Reality, and apparently PlayStation. Wow. I haven't pulled out my PS4 dev kit in a while, but I think I'm going to skip PS4 though for this one, and hopefully do PS5.
Right.
With any luck, that'll be sometime next year. So that's good timing.
At this point, developing for future console is probably the way to go of where it's at right now in the time frame of when that probably will come out.
Especially when I'm aiming for like high end graphics and like the control scheme on the current PlayStation is just not really conducive to. No. It's either a gamepad game or it's wands with no sticks, and it's like well, how do we move? How do we fly a ship,
Yeah, at that point, you're then dumbing down your vision of what you want your game to be just to be on something. And
which is kind of always how it is. Like, you always have to kind of design for the lowest common denominator, but I'd rather skip PlayStation because it's too low right now. I mean, it's great. Like, it's got the biggest market and everything, but it's like, I don't know. I think PlayStation 5 will have just as big a market.
Absolutely. And you're kind of future-proofing yourself too by being more on the advanced scale to where that game will play well even, a year or 2 or 3 from now. It's still going to look up to par instead of being something that's, ported to Quest and then
that's the
basically
plan.
stuck at that.
I don't know if a lot of people are doing like graphic options for their VR titles right now, but that's something I want to kind of do also, is like have the ability to kind of bump it up a little bit if need be.
On PC they do. On PC there's usually some options to up the texture quality and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
I also worry that people don't know any better, and they'll crank it up and then just get a crappy experience because it runs slow.
Yeah, it does happen sometimes. What about index controller? Have you messed with any index controller support? Will there be plans for that?
Right behind me. But I've got some fun plans for it. It's a weird thing. Like, it's not, like, what do you do with them? The stuff I want to do, like with like human interaction stuff in lo-fi, like, like being able to reach out and like shake somebody's hand and stuff like that are the obvious things. But like, you can do that without the index controllers. The only thing I've really thought of that would be great with the index controllers is I've got really good positional audio, and the character's got like rubber gloves, or not rubber, like leather gloves. So I want to do like really accurate like leather squeaking,
crinkle,
depending on like how you tighten your hand.
Awesome.
But what is that? Like, it's cool and it's fun for me to do, and like, the 1 out of 2,000 people that'll notice it will be like, "Whoa, man, my hand squeaks," or whatever.
But those little things are what just like builds such a quality VR experience, because it's this close stuff that you interact with that you actually notice first. I would say when you go into a game, those are the little things that you're like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm hearing this," and little stuff.
Yeah, it's all that little stuff added up. And even like you talked about, the spatial audio is amazing in VR. Me and Tyler were lucky enough to go in pretty early just to take a look around, and the audio,
first thing I said.
Audio is one of the one things we really notice is like, wow, that audio is, I mean, you pinpoint accurate. You can walk into a room and exactly where the source of that sound is coming from, just like in real life. You know what I mean? It is incredible. Really good.
Yeah, there's some advances that I wish were there. Like, there's like things like occlusion. Like if you walk around the corner, it should kind of muffle the sound and stuff like that. That's not there. And I really noticed with things low to the ground, it doesn't really work very well. Like, you can judge where it is positionally, but it's like it never quite sounds right when it's on the ground. I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Sure. The height of it, actually, the vertical.
Yeah, like I can notice up usually, like it's up and behind me or it's up ahead of me, but like when it's low, it never really sounds right to me, because I'm doing like footsteps for these big like clunky robots, and I really wish that like I could. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just need to change the audio myself.
Bass so you feel it, maybe.
Yeah. That's another thing, like sub pack and stuff like that. Have you ever done that? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we haven't, but a lot of guys on our Discord and stuff, because I know Sean has actually talked about doing stuff like that with the transducers and everything, and everyone that does it loves it. But actually, the first thing I noticed when I went into the game was there's one where I'm trying to think which place it was where I got off the ship. But there was, I think it was maybe a robot or a person sitting on the ground with a boombox there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I literally could like look down, and I knew it was even under me, and I could go around it. I could close my eyes and I could have told you where it was.
That's like by the hotel in the club district, right?
Yep. But I don't know if it's because on the Index, the headphones are such a, precise headphone that maybe I'm hearing stuff a little sharper and clearer, that I could vertically tell even where it was. Man, that was the first thing I noticed was like I could close my eyes and look at that spot.
The Rift headphones are pretty good. I'm really disappointed with the Rift S built-in thing. And it's like it's even a pain in the butt for me. Like, I would love to develop with the Rift S just because it looks so much better. But I'm not, like, I take the headset off and off like 1,000 times during a work session. So like having to put that on and then try and get my like nice headphones on over top. It's like, come on,
One
guys.
extra step.
Yeah.
Just give me some headphones. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
I think Oculus started to forget about like the people are developing with these things like software, you know, like it used to be so easy with the DK2, man. It was like ski goggles. I just slide them up. They'd be sitting on my forehead, just like drop them back down. But now it's like, I can't even leave the Rift on my head because it loads up home while I'm in Unity and like
Dash starts crashing
everything.
stuff.
It's like, dude, just like give me the bare bones thing to develop. They need like a toggle for developer mode or something.
Yeah,
they really do.
Nice. Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Now,
and I mean,
what
even
do you
like,
develop?
I was just gonna say, even like the flip-up headset, like the I believe PSVR does that, but I mean, for development end, that would be so much more helpful. And I think everybody would like that, anyways. You know, when we need to jump out of VR for a second to be able to see something or do something, I do wish more people would do that.
Yeah, like it's not so hard to slide the Rift up on my head, but then, like I said, it's like the sensor's covered, so the sound is coming through the Rift headphones, and the home loads up. It would be so much better if it would just like, no, I don't want any of that stuff while I'm developing.
Right.
I know. Just one more obstacle. So I'm going to go to chat for this one, but Gamertag VR in chat said that we were talking about the index and having hands and stuff and what to do with them. And he says that he would like hands in the cyberpunk strip club. Is what he if you were looking for a use for him.
bring my Grand Theft Auto history back.
Right? Oh my gosh. Yeah, there was none of that in Grand Theft Auto, right?
I don't know. I think it's weird. I don't understand how the rules work. Like, I know you'd be fine with that kind of stuff on Steam.
Right.
And I'd be fine with like a ratings board kind of thing. Like, it would just be rated mature. But I don't know how Oculus would deal with that.
Yeah, that's the
question
mark for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of always up in the air, I feel like.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to a company, like an adult company who does like 360 kind of holographic scans of like adult stuff. But they've got like kind of safe for work versions where they're like in bikinis doing pole dances, or like a guy in like a G-string or whatever. And I'm like thinking about putting that into the game, like into one of the clubs as like holograms or whatever. But like, I don't even know how that would play out. Same with Sony. I don't know if Sony would like that either, right? So,
well, I mean, Sony's allowed stuff. I mean, like the current Grand Theft Autos. I mean, they have literal strip clubs inside.
That's true. That's true.
So,
with nudity and everything, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's tough. I mean,
I guess is going to be the big question mark. That's going to be the hardest one, I think, because their stuff is a lot more curated, you know, than everything else. But it is a lot more lenient on the PC end. It's the Quest that they're really, you know, being strict about and stuff. So
Right. I mean, and to be fair, it's not hard to just like turn some of that stuff off, right? Like, I have to do that so much with different platforms anyway. Oh no, my cat is thinking about jumping on me. Not right now, Mary.
I know. Sorry, it happened to be this morning on our show too.
Yeah. The cat attacked the green screen.
It's funny. It's been so long since I've been on a stream. I was thinking of like getting a stuffed cat and then just like randomly in the middle of it, throw it over my head. Like
you
that
totally should.
Get it out of here. Chuck it.
Yeah. And I'll just get it, guys. It's just this stuff.
No cats were injured in the filming.
Yeah, we'd have to put that in the fine print down there.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's awesome. So Greg's VR said on our Discord, he said that you made a RoboCop concept demo a couple years ago.
Oh yeah. And, here he is. Anyway,
yeah,
hi Mary.
Looks exactly like mine too.
So he was asking about if there's any chance of the RoboCop Auto 9 making it into lo-fi.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I don't know. I'm planning to do more of like procedural kind of items. So like upgrades for things like weapons will be kind of randomized. But I have accidentally removed the delay from like the semi-auto feature on the gun, and it already fires like RoboCop's Auto 9. So yeah, like I would love to have that model in there for sure. Like the one I used in the RoboCop demo that I made wasn't even RoboCop's Auto 9. But what about hot dogs, horseshoes, and hand grenades.
Yeah.
Does that have it in it? It should.
Oh, I'm trying to think. I can't remember.
Not,
There's so many guns in that game. There's
I'm gonna go yell at Anton.
Yeah,
I know. We should ask him that.
Yeah, we should. We did have him on the show a while back, right before right before he did his update.
Yeah.
Right.
That's awesome.
So you're actually starting your Kickstarter, which was supposed to be tomorrow, right?
Yeah,
but actually
that might
now
be wrong
it is
on a couple
Monday.
places. I did put September 1st, but it is September 2nd. It's September 2nd now.
That's fine. That's fine. I don't know. I think I don't know if there's anything to that. Like you need to get everybody on the first day thing. You know?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
it's got to be out there anyway.
Stumble across it. I think that's more for like people actually on Kickstarter. You know, like
waiting on something new.
Yeah, but I don't think that's my main market. I don't think like.
I think the one good thing about getting people right off the bat in Kickstarter is you make headlines. So if you get fully funded within really fast times, that gets people talking. I think that's really the only
benefit.
And
then that expands and even farther yet. Yep.
Yeah, but like I said, I don't think that's like my market. I think the VR community is kind of such a niche and removed from the standard market thing. Oh no, what are you doing, Murray?
Somebody wants to be famous.
he just wants to change position there.
Yeah.
So yeah, like as long as I get like I don't know an article on Upload or even like a video game site, like if Polygon or The Verge or whatever does something.
I mean, Lo-Fi is a highly anticipated game, though. I mean, people have been talking about this game for a long time now, and anytime you mention Lo-Fi, everybody's excited about it. They know what it is, and the Kickstarter hasn't even started yet. Yeah, so it is definitely.
That bodes well.
Yeah, it is definitely a highly anticipated game. I think there are going to be some people very excited come September 2nd. And I think you said with the Kickstarter, you will get access to the build. Is that correct?
Yeah. So not the very lowest tier. Wait, is it? I think I bumped it up one just because somebody made the point that I don't want everybody in Discord, like even the people that don't really care. It's just like, not being very helpful.
Right.
So I think the lowest here is like 45 Canadian, which is like 30 American. You get access to the build right away. I think I'm putting it up on what do you call it? Itch.
Okay.
IO. Yeah, I think that's the only way to get it out to people with a key. And not just kind of. I'm also going to do a demo during September. So like, as the Kickstarter is going, I'm going to get like a little demo together. For Technolust, I had like a really small like first 15 minutes demo, and then I did like a kind of slice demo that was Amity's apartment, and then I did like a cinematic demo where it's just like. It's kind of for everybody for trade shows and stuff. You just plop on the headset and it just kind of like drifts you through a few different environments. So I think I'm going to do the same kind of thing with Lo-Fi. So I'll do it like a menu where you can be like, shooting range, autopilot flight, 5-minute free roam flight, and just let people kind of, it'll be kind of a big demo. It'll be like a, whatever it is, 5 gig demo file, but whatever. But yeah, I think that'll work as long as. Yeah,
that would be a good way too for you to introduce new stuff into it without having to change the whole game too. So if you wanted to change new gun mechanics, people can go in and test out all the new gun mechanics in a shooting range.
Yeah, no. So that like I did that with Technolust as well. Like everyone had beta access that backed it. Not everybody. It was the same thing. It was like one tier up, but it works really well because you get feedback. It's like free testing. Luckily, most people are very kind of constructive, and the only people that I don't know. That was back then when there was only like
small community.
But I
think the active people though in this community are still pretty close and tight. As we know, a lot of them and stuff, and everyone is out there to help, people, developers, people in the community, which is really nice to see. It's still that small still.
Yeah.
But we are at that point of it really growing here in the next couple months and after the holidays, that it could get a little bit, thicker. So yeah, I'll be curious to see how it goes with.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, I've gotten pretty good at kind of ignoring the angry stuff, or just kind of like laughing it off. You know, like. But 10 years on Twitter will do that to a man. Just kind of like, I'm just
Seen it
like,
all.
yeah. I just laugh at it now.
There's always going to be somebody with something negative to say, no matter
Sure.
what. So I mean, that's just
Can't
life.
please everyone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I've got like a good private Discord where I can just like paste it in and we can tear them apart on there. It's not public.
There you go.
So I should grab a couple
keep that
of these
in mind.
things.
If you're going to say something mean to me, I'm going to talk shit about you on my Discord.
You'll get it right back.
But not publicly.
Yeah,
I'm not
you'll never know
smart
about
enough to not do it publicly. Yeah.
That's awesome. So I should grab a couple of these questions out of chat before they get too far away. First, I want to say, and I don't see any more, somebody was saying you would make a really good Bond villain with the cat and stroking the cat.
Come on, tell me this isn't a common thing to have your cat on your lap.
Exactly, I know. It's every day for me too.
This cat just showed up. He chose me. It was like the middle of the winter. I opened my door to vape, and he came running up my driveway, mewing at me. And he was like, I don't know, 7 pounds or something, really skinny. So I fed him some leftover sashimi.
Oh, there you
and
go.
Then we let him stay the night.
I'd probably stay at your house too for that.
Yeah, so we looked up, like, tried to find owners and stuff, and took him to the vet, no chip or anything, and it's been like 6 months, and he's mine now. Awesome. He doesn't want to leave. I could open the door and try and get him out, and he's like, no way, dude.
Right. Pretty friendly, like, though. For a stray cat? That's crazy how friendly.
Something must have happened. He must have had I don't know, his owner died or something, or like, I don't know. Or like, yeah.
So another question from DLG27, he asked, will lo-fi be story-driven?
Yes, but not really in the way that a standard story-driven game is. So you think about it more like when you play Skyrim or something like that, or Fallout, there is kind of a main overarching story. In lo-fi, there's not so much an overarching story as there is an overarching kind of background. You know, like these are the things that are happening in the world, but the stories that you participate in are kind of up to you. It's like a game full of side quests. It's all side quests and no main story. But that being said, they all overlap, or they don't all overlap, but the like stories overlap with each other, and there are some major things going on that you can figure out, right? Like there's what's going on with the people that are jacked into VR, right? Into the platform. There's what are the AI that have kind of walled themselves off in their own section of the city? What are they up to? So yes, there's like grand narratives going on, but it's up to you whether you care or whether you kind of forward those narratives, right? Or what you do with them. I tried to make it more like a holodeck program. Like it's you don't go in and it's like, okay, this is the story that's going to happen, and you know, because I always get frustrated playing something like Skyrim, and I do a main story quest, and it like closes something off to me, or like, you know, that's what's making me finish the game. I don't want to finish the game. I want to live here and do what I want, you know.
And I think that's everybody's opinion now, seeing all your trailers and stuff of where this is at, and us playing it too. I think everybody wants to just be in this world so much. I mean, yeah, it sounds like an interactive open world, I guess. I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good way to put it. But where, you can just go out and choose your own path, kind of. But and its own theme and direction, I'm sure.
Right now, there's not a lot in there. Like, it's mostly environment and kind of getting the basics of, you know, how everything works in there. Yep. But that's why we're running a Kickstarter, because it costs money to get voice acting done and animation and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah. So do you have a goal for your Kickstarter, like a final goal for it?
Yeah, I mean the goal on the page is 60K Canadian, which is I don't know what that is. It's like probably like 40 American.
Yeah, I think it's 44 or something like that.
Yeah, that's basically just to keep me motivated, But I'm hoping that it'll get up high enough that we can make it kind of more AAA quality stuff, Like if it gets up to like 100K, that means I can hire I can go to a studio and do motion capture, like custom motion capture, right? Or if it goes the more the better, because I can justify spending it on the game. Whereas 40K and I'm working on it for the next year, I'm basically eating and continuing to work on it myself. And it'll be great, but the more the better. But
from where the look of it though, I think that's an I feel like that's easy, because it already to me looks like a AAA game of where it's at now and what I've played.
Yeah.
So I mean, man, it really, I feel like that goal will be definitely possible. I don't know why anybody wouldn't back this too.
Yeah, it's more about the depth of it, right? How much content can I cram in? And like I said, voice actors cost money, custom mocap costs money.
Yep.
Even getting another writer on board would be helpful. That costs money. So yeah, I can do it all myself. I basically did it with Technolust.
Yep.
But then with Technolust, you end up with 4 hours of content, right, at the most, kind of thing. So more money, more content.
Yeah.
I kind of want to get this one to the point where it's not only is there a ton of content where you can do all these little story narratives, but there's also stuff that'll just keep you going, right? Somebody might just want to go to the casino and play slots for 8 hours. Somebody might want to just fly around in the vehicle and bust people for hours on end and try and get as much money as they can to buy a new vehicle or something like that, right? I want it to be something that people come back to, and that's the kind of thing I come back to is it's not necessarily oh, I gotta figure out what's next in the story. It's oh, I want to just go in there and do that thing that I enjoy doing, and get some benefit from it. Make in-game currency to buy something cool.
So are you, I was watching this video that's playing even in the top corner, and all these assets are just, they look amazing. Are you designing most of those yourself, or have some of those been sourced, or? Oh
yeah, no, they're from all over the place. So there's a few that I made myself. I try not to do much modeling anymore because it's so time consuming. Yeah. So the photo scans are Quantum Capture, another company I co-founded. They scan real people. Awesome. A lot of assets are just kit bashed from all over the place, though. The city is what it is almost everything done in Unity has tons of assets from the Unity asset store.
Yep.
The trick is kind of getting them to be a cohesive thing, right? So with lighting and color and stuff like that.
Yep.
So I think that's something that I definitely have figured out. So yeah, there's a lot of custom stuff too. So I've already spent a bunch of money from the profits for Technolust just on things vehicles, custom things that I need that just aren't in there,
you want polished in your own, and
well, I just want them to be my own thing also. There's no good robots on the Unity asset store, right? So I got Nick Pittum, what's Nick famous for? He did Coloss, Dispatch,
nice.
bunch of stuff. But he's a really great modeler and rigger, so I got him to do the clunker robots that are in there, the big guys that are and they're based on cool. An old Honda prototype, the Honda P2, which I don't think I can get sued for. I don't know. It's it doesn't say Honda anywhere on it.
Yeah,
sure.
but yeah, like you got to pay for this custom stuff, right? And like that's the kind of robot I wanted in this world, is this old like clunky kind of
like a leftover robot from years before, almost like roaming the streets.
I mean, there's going to be kind of higher end ones, like, but yeah, there's already ones in there, like the ones with that have been made fun of because the robots have nipples. Why do the robots have nipples? So they look good in a dress. Human, right? I don't know. People look weird without nipples.
Could you imagine, like, if there was that kind of world? Like, people would go around and write graffiti on them and like all kinds.
Yeah, so all that stuff's happening too. Like, so cool. That's one of the backer rewards I have in there is like you robot. So you get to like take one of these clunker robots and design what you want it to be.
We need to do that, Tyler. Yeah.
I'll skin it custom for you, right? Like, it can be like a.
Oh man!
Be like a what's the show called? Rendered Reality.
Yeah. An old Rendered Reality.
Robot. Rendered Reality, please, like with a cup of coffee in its hand, please.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that would be
awesome.
Serve
coffee out of its back or something. That'd be
refill everybody. That'd be classic. But that's one thing people don't realize is just the amount of money this kind of stuff takes to do. You know, it's easy for people sitting on the other side, you know, to just say, "Oh, this game, you know, we're thrown together or whatever." But it's just a massive amount of money to pull it off right and do it right. And we've seen some games. Time and money.
People are expensive too. Like a good Unity developer will charge you like a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, you think about like how long it takes to do just like a good piece of code, or like, you know, for a custom system, you're talking like days.
Oh, yeah.
And like the day rate for and these people are in such high demand, you know, like if I go to like a VR meetup or something and everyone's like, you know any like good Unity developers? And I'm like, I'm not telling you about them. I'm one of them and I don't want to work for you, but like they're out there, but they're pricey.
Yeah.
Sure.
Good luck.
Sure.
Yeah.
So somebody asked, I think it was Steve XM asked about multiplayer. Is there any kind of future plans for any kind of multiplayer or co-op or anything like that?
I mean, this is like programming isn't my high point. Like I can do what I need to get a game done, but things like networking, that's a full-time programmer to get that working properly. So I guess we could do a stretch goal. I don't know what that would be though. You know, like I think it would be more likely to spin off something and do if people are really into the flight stuff, we could do like a multiplayer city patrol game, like G Police kind of
somebody asked multiplayer. About that too. I think it was Paradise Decay asked if you got any inspiration from G Police.
So Mark, the lead programmer, is a huge G Police fan. I started kind of just making this on my own. I was like, I want to make this like kind of flying car Blade Runner thing. I think I don't know if it was before or after Aircar. I should give Aircar some credit though, because like it's very cool.
It is cool.
And I actually I was looking at the assets for some of the buildings that are in Aircar. And they have been taken off of the store where I was going to buy them since Aircar. I don't know. I don't know if he bought them out or what.
Sure.
Sorry, my hand's getting wobbly. Hold on, let me switch hands. Got a cramp.
Has to be.
So talking about the flight stuff a little bit. What about HOTAS?
Yes, they work. They work already.
Nice.
Nice. That's cool.
The latest build of Uploaded. I haven't personally tested it, but Mark has got it going. There's some stuff that I need a menu built for just customizing like the mapping. That's something I need to do. And then there's still some tweaking that needs to be done to the flight stuff. I want kind of like a vertical VTOL kind of thing built in, which isn't in there right now.
Like a horizon marker, like a level marker?
No, just so you can actually move the ship directly up and down on the Y.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Right now it's just whatever, pitch, yaw,
Yeah.
Forward back.
So that's really exciting, actually, because one of the things with No Man's Sky, I don't know if you've tried that yet in VR, but that was one of the people's big complaints is that, there's no HOTAS support for your ship.
Right.
So that is definitely a very exciting thing to hear, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah. There's some logistic issues with it. Well, with switching between the ship and the ground already. I don't know if I want to kind of freeze the action every time and be like, hey, get ready to fly. Go and sit in your chair or go get your HOTAS set up or whatever. Because for the people that are just sitting and playing, that just is annoying. That just gets in the way. So I guess I'll have to build in that functionality for both.
It would almost be cool if you could set up, where you were standing position and then behind you was your HOTAS or in front or wherever, and you had to get up and then your standing space was actually removed from that location. Because you're right, that's the hardest thing. You can't actually have a chair and HOTAS in the same place where you're standing doing VR. So
that's what I mean. So that's up to the user though, right? Yes, I can put a thing that says, okay, you're switching now, go get ready. And then I'll reset the camera position once they say they're ready.
Sure.
I don't want that to happen for the person that's just sitting in their chair playing with their touch controllers or whatever. Right. So
yeah, it's definitely an obstacle. That is an obstacle that,
I mean,
for sure.
It's just tricky. It's just one of those things. There's so many. This is VR development, right? There's a ton of crap that needs to be done.
Oh yeah.
Just getting things working between all the different multiple controller schemes, which again is Mark. He's a genius. He's got it.
Even that's just a mess too, because I know even with the Index, I think the initial SDK was just Vive wands that were kind of ported in the same settings, and that didn't really work. And it sounds
it's weird with things like even just because of the Vive wands, the grip on the Vive wands is so terrible that you don't want to use it.
Right.
But I want two triggers. I want one for so you can pick up the gun,
right,
and you can shoot the gun, right? But I can't do that with the Vive wand. I have to anyway.
I know.
It's my life.
Vive wands ruin everything. No.
No, they do. Well, the PlayStation Move controllers ruin everything.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
So I'd be rich if those things had a stick on them.
Oh my gosh, I know. It's so I just don't get it either. They've stuck with those controllers.
Yeah.
So what about comfort options, like locomotion options and different comfort options for different player base?
That's all in there now. There's nothing really. I had the tunneling stuff for flight, where you can set it so that when you're moving, it just kind of tunnels in. Or there's a bunch of options for that too, where it can show a grid and stuff. But that's currently not working, I think, because of the universal rig, but it's easy to set up. All of the standard walking stuff is in there. You've got, teleport, zoom teleport, snap turns with different degrees, smooth turns, fast and slow, smooth locomotion that's head oriented, smooth locomotion that's controller oriented, arm swing, cloud step, which is the one that Mark and I came up with, where it's like a stutter thing. Really? It's all in there. You guys have the build, I think, that's got that all in there now.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to go.
Cloud step? That's cool. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing we always talk about is just giving the options, you know what I mean? So that's good to hear. I mean, it's good to have the options because there's a lot of people that like to play it a different way. There's no one standard way, so that's definitely, I think, the way to go.
And people rage at you if you don't have their specific flavor in there.
Yep.
Yeah, it is tough. The only ones we do get people that ask what's a good chair for playing in a wheelchair. So you have a full seated, you can play it seated, and so far, and it's working good.
Yeah, that's important to me because that's how I play.
Sure, it's relaxing.
I'm gonna stand in my living room for 8 hours playing a game. Sure, it's crazy.
Yep.
I always stood until No Man's Sky. Since No Man's Sky, I've started playing sitting down, but it also depends on the game too. Like playing a first-person shooter,
No, it totally depends on the game.
Yeah,
I have a lot of Twitter arguments with people about people get it in their head that they love things like Beat Saber, which is great, and Job Simulator, which is also great. But they're like, this is what VR needs to be. It needs to be embodied. I need to constantly be moving, and I'm like, that's not. I mean, yes, that's great, but that's not the be all and end all of VR. Like, like there's other things, like people want to play a No Man's Sky where they can go and explore for hours and hours and hours, right? And that's
I think the VR novelty, like starting out, sure, it's great. Get to go do something you've never been able to do, move around, see your hands. But then eventually, people want to just get to what they've been doing. So
yeah, I mean, like you still want to move around and see your hands, but it's like there's something to just being in these worlds. Like the fun part of life isn't that I can like turn doorknobs or like pick up a coffee cup, right? It's where that door goes. It's like what's happening on the other side of the door. Yep. It's like, it's great, but like I don't think that's the most important part. Yeah. People don't want. I got a conversation about this with another VR stream. Is that one of their guys was just complaining about like, it was an early build, and in Technoless as well. It's like I want to be able to reach out and open the door. I want the doorknobs to work in Technoless. And I'm like, okay, well, like Technoless, I can use the excuse that it was developed originally without touch controllers.
Right. Sure.
So like doors are just buttons. You just press a door, but like doorknobs, man, come on. Like what is door opening simulator going to be a fun game? Like just keep opening doors.
Yeah,
it's like,
just opening it like, whoa, this is amazing.
I mean, that might be a fun game, right? It's like, but that's not what this game is. It's like it's worry about what's on the other side of the door, or
right.
Oh my God. So, where do you want that money spent? In opening doors or experiences? I
mean, it's not hard to open the door, but like I don't even want to do it. It's like I made this argument since the beginning of motion controls. It's like if I could look at my coffee and press a button and be drinking it,
it's a good point.
I would much rather do that than reach out and pick up the damn coffee and bring it to my face.
Look at it and levitate
myself or like myself in the head.
That's funny. So Paradise Decay asked, is there anything that you really wanted in the game but just isn't feasible?
In lo-fi?
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I don't.
Yeah, haven't reached that point
yet. Something that I'd really love to do is like full facial animation, and that's very expensive. Like we need to make blend shapes for like 20 different blend shapes for all the heads, and then figure out a system in Unity that works well. And with the photo scan characters, it's very important that it's like really good because they already look really realistic.
Yeah.
So you hit the uncanny valley super easily. If they start to like, talk like they're chewing a walnut, it's like it doesn't work very well.
Breaks it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about Quest? That's a big question everybody always has. Is about Quest.
This game, the way it is not going to be a Quest game. I mean, I plan to do kind of some little prequel stories for it. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a ridiculous stretch goal that's like, a couple million.
Right.
But it's like, how do you
start a whole new game?
I mean, this
is I'm riding the edge of what a 970 can do.
Right. I mean, this is a massive game to try to get on to the Quest, especially with the visuals that are in this game. And so, is that what the minimum spec is? Is that you're shooting for as a 970, or what is the minimum spec that you're hoping
it's like the minimum spec is the minimum spec, right? For PCVR, it's like 970 or 1070. I think they're pretty much equivalent, or maybe it's
970 is still lower, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
but I mean, that's impressive. If you can play this on a 970, that is.
You can't. Like, it's still early, so there's definitely places where it won't be ideal that need to be optimized. But yeah, it should. Yeah. Otherwise, I won't be able to get it on the Oculus store.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. Yeah.
Man, that is. Is there anything else in chat that anyone was saying here?
It's hard to keep up with.
I know. I was just looking too.
There's some random things throughout.
Oh, PSVR plans. That was the one I saw.
Yeah,
somebody wondered if there were plans.
I have a PS4 dev kit, but I don't know how that works. It's a lot of work to get it even graphically to fit on there, and then the controllers are the hugest problem.
Yeah.
But I've also been talking to Sony, and there is stuff in the future So
Sure.
I'm looking forward to that.
Sure, open for sure to work with you. Absolutely. I mean, they know you put out good products and solid products, and now where you're at with this too. So
yeah, well, they're excited
absolutely.
about lo-fi, and they want lo-fi on their platform. But
that's awesome. Yeah, maybe for the next gen, right?
Yeah, definitely for the next gen.
Yeah, there you go.
For sure.
You got anything else in your notes there?
Oh yeah, so the first thing that I loved, I just want to say, is the sound, obviously, and then when I got to go into the garage you added in, I think 2 builds ago maybe, that looked incredible. That looked amazing. I loved the look of it. I mean, just your lighting and everything, the detail with all the assets you have in there, it just feels so populated and full, even without people in it, at the moment. And you do have some people in it and some, but no, true AI or NPCs.
There's a person in there. All she does is stare at you like a
she just watches you. And that is creepy.
Yeah.
Like
that
the
alone,
eyes, to watch the eyes and the head follow you. It is a creepy sensation, but it's cool,
Yeah, that's something I don't know if I should talk about that more in the Kickstarter. Is like, I really want to get that to the next level. I haven't seen a lot of that. Like, right now I've got good eye contact and blinking and stuff, but I want some more like body stuff, like being able to, a character's talking to you and they'll reach out and give you something, or like want to shake your hand or something. Like, I haven't seen a lot of that in VR outside of like the demos for the index controllers, right?
Yeah.
Which I haven't even tried myself, but
it's pretty cool.
Like, if that girl reached out and like grabbed and covered my eyes or something, I would probably lose it. I'd lose it.
They're tricky problems, but I think it's stuff that can be done. I had somebody really like basically reach out and hand you something in Technolost. It was like a key to the ship to Mars or whatever, and I think like it can be done, but I want to like really get that going. Like, really have. Palmer said really early on that like this kind of eye contact thing is going to be really important to VR, and it is. And to be fair, like I said, I haven't played a lot of stuff. Like Lone Echo looks like it does a good job of that kind of thing. I should probably play that. But yeah, I really want to nail that kind of like human interaction stuff.
Yeah, the little things you take away from people and just normal, person-to-person interaction, that to be implemented into VR is what makes for those like memorable, moments.
I'm doing dialogue trees for lo-fi, which I haven't really seen either outside of LA Noire did it. That's the only really like narrative thing.
Narrative-wise, No Man's Sky has a little bit of, but they're just basic kind of NPC stuff. It's not really narrative-driven.
Right.
Yeah. But that's true.
So do you still have a plan for a 2020 release? Is that the plan?
That's the plan.
Yeah, I know the plans are hard to stick to when it comes to this kind of stuff, but
that's the good thing about kind of giving beta access too, is like, if it takes longer, at least you can play it.
Right, you can get in there.
It's like, like I'm hoping to have it wrapped up by like at least by the end of next year. But yeah, I don't know. I also like might end up, depending how well it does as well, right? Like if nobody cares, if I get the 60 grand on Kickstarter and it takes me until the end of next year, okay, maybe it's done and that's it, right? But if people are like really into it and interested, then I'll just keep adding to it. I'm just gonna like it'll be like hot dogs and hand grenades or whatever, right? I'll just like let's just keep going, guys. Like, here you go, and I'm just gonna keep working
adding
on it.
to it.
If you guys keep buying it, I'm gonna keep making it because
and there's a lot of games that do well at doing that too, though. That keep adding to. I mean, and just as an example, as in current is No Man's Sky. It came out and everybody made fun of it. Now it is the biggest, hottest thing right now at the moment. So, just from them
VR,
plugging at it.
Sure,
VR, exactly, for VR, in our community. But it's definitely, you can definitely keep at it. And I know Anton's been doing well with theirs and stuff.
He's
over the years.
Constantly updating. I mean, he does updates all the time.
It's kind of hit and miss, though. Like, people complain about the kind of like games as a service thing. What I definitely don't want to do is say that it's finished when it's not, pull up Bethesda and be like, here's lo-fi 76, enjoy, and then you just get destroyed. Like I bought that game, and it's like, you can't do that, guys. Like don't say it's finished if it's not finished. Like it's clearly this is not finished. So
I was just watching the video up here, and the other thing I really like too you have is the scan. When you hit the button and it scans the city and stuff, and then can lead you either paths to where you're headed. The visuals on that, again, talking about something you can't do in real life, are just amazing.
So this is another thing I want to do in VR that I don't think has really been done, is like really good AR in VR, right? Like it's kind of in its most basic stage right now, but like right now, information comes up, what you're looking at, and like a menu comes up that you can interact with, and push buttons. You can move the AR screen around to where you want it. But I want to so you look at a ship and it says like whatever class ship, and then it'll show like a little 3D model of the ship, and you can grab it and look at it, and kind of examine it, put it back. Like some really good AR stuff, because like I haven't seen any good AR stuff in VR or AR. So let's try and get the AR working really well in VR and see what that's like.
Move forward.
You'll know what works and doesn't work then even in real life. So
that's true.
I want to have a stretch goal for like an AR mini game in the game. So like a Pokemon Go type thing.
Oh, that would be cool.
That would be.
But like when it's really good, right? Like a model shows up right in front of you, and you have to actually like throw a Pokeball at it or something. But obviously not a Pokeball, or not.
Right.
You can even go to like boomboxes playing music and pop it up, and it would tell you like what song, like a SoundHound kind of deal for like AR.
Like that's already that kind of stuff's already in the works. Like
that would be awesome.
So who does write the music? Are you writing the music in the game? Because the music is another incredible.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
Terrible musician. I have a really good ear for music, but I'm not very good at making it.
You're 0 and 1s, not 1s and 2s, right?
No, I'm 1s and 2s. I'm just like, I don't know. It takes the music is very interesting. I have a ton of people come to me and be like, "Oh, I love what you're doing. I want to do music for your game." And I listen to it, and it's like video game music. And it's like, no, this is VR. I want music, that people actually listen to. Like you walk by a radio, and it's not like, I don't know, it sounds like stock music somebody bought off like YouTube or something. Or like the free royalty free shit. And I'm like, no, it's got to be like
premium.
So Toronto's got a really good like electro, synth pop, like
house,
jungle. Like we've got all these scenes of like musicians, and I know tons of like techno producers and stuff. So I just source them. I'm like, dude, this music's dope. Can I and it fits perfectly with my world. I reached out to somebody the other day. It was I was listening to it was just like a cyberpunk 2077 mix that somebody had made on YouTube. That's not really songs from it. It's like inspired by it. And I love this one track, and I was like, what is this track? So I emailed the guy who made the track, and then he's like, oh, let me get you in contact with my label. And then the label contacts me, and I'm like, okay, listen, I'm like poor, but the song is dope, and I want to put it in my game. I'll promote your artist. Absolutely. Give them a billboard.
Full credit.
Give them credit. Like let's talk about this, and they're usually really open to it, right?
Sure.
It's like, but
as long as they get credit,
it's really important. It's really important setting the mood, and the wrong music will totally fuck things up.
Yep. The music totally fits the game so far. Everything that's been in there so far is just awesome. I mean, spot on what it should be. But it's definitely another highlight of the game.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the time, I'll do it in reverse, where I'll find a track that I really like, and it'll inspire me to like start building an area too, right? So like this one track that I was talking about, contacting the label, it's like it's perfect for kind of like an arcadey type, kind of, maybe not an arcade, but more like the arcade from like Hackers, where there's like a rollerblade thing, It's just this song. It just inspires that, and I'm like, okay, I need this track, and then I'm going to build this place for that track.
Awesome.
It's going to be perfect.
So cool.
Yeah, I think the funniest was Sean was actually playing it, I think, for the first or second time. And he even got it on video, but he was in the ship and he was just reaching around trying buttons. And all of a sudden he hit let's call it the radio up above. Yeah. And he was like tripping out. He was like, "Oh my gosh, like it works!"
The half-finished music button. I
was literally dancing.
The music button. So eventually, I'm gonna program that whole console so you can, like you said, you'll go up to a radio. Maybe it'll show you what the track is called. You can record it, and then you have it on your ship or whatever. Right?
That would be cool.
That's so cool. Toggle through it.
Get one track when you start, and then you can add them in as you find them. Stuff like that. Totally. Literally, I could spend days playing a game just trying to find all the tracks.
Good music.
We've done that in every game forever since we were young.
The exploration aspect is huge for sure. I mean, that's a lot of people just can do that for days.
Yeah, I like that stuff too. I don't like kind of being forced to do it though. It would be good if you could just go to a music store and buy it all with in-game currency, right?
Yeah. Burn it all on music.
Yeah, if you're lazy.
Right? Would be cool.
I mean, that's the beauty, though. Everybody plays different ways. So, I mean, let people play how they want to play it, you know?
Yeah, there's still a lot that needs to be done. Just reminding me about the ship UI. There's so much I want to do with that right now. Like everything, I was just doing research on police sirens, like how those work. Yeah. They're super cool, man. Like how they actually they've got like a little synthesizer basically in their cab. There's like a one button that you hold down to make all the whoopy sounds. It's like the longer you hold it, the longer the whoop goes. I'm like, we need that, man. That's fun. Like, whoop,
right?
Whoop, whoop. There's the air honk, and then there's 5 different sirens, and there's sirens that when you combine them, it makes a different sound. And they've got this new thing now called the howler that adds bass to the siren, so that if people are cranking tunes in their car, they feel it.
Oh, that is awesome!
Gosh. It's cool.
The other new one would be cool is I know on all the new a lot of the new police cars they have I can't think what it's called right now. It's a projectile unit that comes off the front and you can tag a car in front of you and it follows their GPS then. Yeah, so they just shoot this thing out the front and it tags the back of the car and sticks to it.
It actually sticks to it?
Yeah, it's a big sticky ball like rubber. Yeah. And then they just back off, and then they can track them and stuff and follow them. I
remember seeing that thing that they'd launch, and it would drive really fast on a car.
The RC car thing.
Yeah, it was like an electromagnetic pulse that would just fry the car and
shut it down.
Stop. That's dope. Love that stuff. Yeah, so I totally want to have all that kind of thing. And it's less about flying around and shooting stuff, I think. And more about actual police stuff. Every once in a while, sure, you might need to shoot something down, but a lot of the time, be just
a lot of interactive stuff.
Yeah, you can kind of I really want to focus on the kind of moral gray stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you want to just be the biggest prick of a cop in the world, you can do that. You can just awesome. You're like the sheriff in this town, right? You're the law. So you can just be a prick and arrest everybody or maybe that's not being a prick. Maybe it's
maybe it needs that.
But you decide what you want to do. If you feel bad for somebody, you might let them go or you might bribe them or do whatever you want, right? I think people want that kind of
absolutely.
It's like a power fantasy, you know?
Oh yeah.
I'd like to see the metrics on that kind of stuff too, you know?
I know.
Really early on, I wanted to do an experiment where we got a really good photo scan of somebody, say it's just an innocent looking girl, and give the person have a gun in their hand and just load them up in the VR experience, and here's just this person and you've got a gun.
What do you do? Yeah.
I want the metrics on that. How often do people just be oh, I've got a gun, boom, and shoot them in the head, or maybe if they wait a second, somebody comes up behind that they need to shoot or something, kind of safe kind of Milgram's experiments, where you're not going to get in trouble for it and you're not actually going to damage someone psychologically.
Right.
Yeah. go to shoot somebody and the clip falls out and it blows up and kills you. I mean, there's all kinds of trick, like mind screwing with stuff you could do.
Yeah,
but are endless.
I know.
Kind of want to do, but not punish people for it in the game, right? Sure. Like if you can get away with it, you like I said, there's nobody to stop you. If you want to shoot that person, okay, well they're dead now.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But that's on you. Like maybe, I don't know.
If you get more ammo for your gun when you kill him, or you get information or something. I don't know if you talk to him.
Yeah, or like money or something.
Definitely. Oh man,
I also kind of want to like limit the gun. I think the gun should be because I don't want people just running through the game and shooting everything. To be fair, like maybe it's like what movie was that? Oh, it's like Westworld, right? So like the gun only works on the robots. For humans, it just shoots like paintballs or something.
Yeah.
So like that kind of thing. Like if somebody's completely innocent and they're just walking by and you've got nothing on them, you shouldn't be able to shoot them. The gun will just
what was that? Like Total Recall where you like walked around and you would like get notifications if you cussed or something? Was that Total? What was that?
No, that's Demolition Man.
Demolition Man, that's it.
Yeah. Totally.
Oh man, so good.
Yeah.
So many philosophical.
I want to have like petty laws like that too. Like there's I want a gang that just kind of like hacks advertising terminals and puts memes on them. And it's up to you whether like, okay, no, that's fine. You might want to just leave that.
Right.
Or you might want to change it back to the advertisement, or you might want to like, just keep investigating that until you find the person who's doing it or whatever. Right? Like it's
like underground rave. Like, do you change the sign or do you go to the underground rave?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
There's like the robot love is illegal, so there's like an underground, like living in the sewers, people with their robot lovers, right? So like once you find that place, what do? Like do you
shut it down do
you shut it down? Do you arrest them all? Do you like destroy the robots? Like what do you want to do? That's up to you. And like and not having kind of like an overarching story, I think allows you to do that stuff, right? So like people would say, well, if you kill them, then the game's ruined. Like what happens? No, I mean that part of the game, it's not ruined. You did what you wanted to do there, right? It's like
that's what you get. Yeah,
it doesn't affect it'll affect things, but it won't affect won't break it for you.
Do you have plans? Do you have plans for multiple save slots? Because I already see myself wanting to play out different scenarios in this.
Going hard on one.
That's not a hard thing to do. Technolust was like my first solo game and my first Unity game, so I had no idea what I was doing. It's funny to say that now. Yeah, my critically acclaimed VR title.
We're like, hey, we'll figure it out as we go.
No idea what I was up to. But yeah, so definitely, multiple save slots. It's not hard to do. I mean, it'll still be limited, but it won't be.
Somebody said something in chat to make sure there's 3 seashells in the bathroom somewhere. Again,
I like. Well, if anyone's played Technolust, they know I'm totally into doing like references to
hidden
things
and
there's references in Technolust that people like. They're so obscure, and people will like DM me on Twitter and be like, "Dude, I can't believe that you put like the Hackers Manifesto scrolling along the news feed in Technolust." Like that's so dope.
It's all about like the little Easter eggs, though. I mean, that stuff gets us excited when we're in a game to find that stuff and notice it. Yeah,
I like that stuff
for sure.
It's like the real world, right? Like you find interesting.
Oh,
things.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Somebody else in chat asked, "Is this going to be instantly accessible with the Kickstarter, or once it's been completed?" I guess is a better way to put it.
I have to wait until the Kickstarter is completed because people can just pull out, right?
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So it's a month. But like I said, I'm gonna try and get it just a free demo out somewhere in the middle of the Kickstarter.
Oh, nice, cool. That's the one that you're gonna have on itch. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I mean, they'll both probably be on itch because to start with, because I have a multi-platform build, right? Like I said, but I can't. easier to do that than say, okay, what do you want? Do you want the Steam? Do you want the Windows Store? Do you want the whatever?
Right,
Sure.
right.
And I have to set up all those stores and everything too.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well, I think that's about all I got.
I think we should probably wrap up. I know you have somewhere to be after this. You have a pretty fun toy to pick up after this.
Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta give him a call.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's we're definitely petrol heads ourselves, so we definitely get it. That's for sure.
This is electric.
Yeah, it is electric. As I was going to say, it is electric.
True. I guess I can't say petrol head. That's true.
We're gearheads in a sense. We're gearheads in a sense.
There you go.
But,
I'm excited. I just found out that it was I thought it was just kind of a one-off thing, but everybody kept saying like, "Oh, is that a Honda Ruckus?" I'm like, what's this Ruckus thing? Right. So I looked it up, and it's like there's this huge modding community around this Ruckus.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, damn, I hope these mods all work on this thing. You know, like obviously the performance mods won't work, but like visual mods, I'd love to like pimp this thing out.
Yeah.
A little cyberpunk mobile.
Yeah. There you go.
Lo-fi decals or something.
Yeah. Well, that I can do, no problem.
Yeah, that's easy. Exactly. So if you guys want to know what we're talking about, he did post it on his Twitter. I think the Twitter link is in the description as well. So if you guys aren't following Blair on Twitter yet,
follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, that's where
he's my new thing.
I will make sure.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that link in there if it's not in there yet. But I mean, he puts out stuff all the time, clips, video clips of lo-fi.
I'm less on Reddit these days. I mean, maybe I should start posting on Reddit I don't know, Reddit started to hurt me.
Yeah. Reddit's a weird beast. Reddit's kind of weird these days, that's for sure.
It's good sometimes. Like, I love the original kind of VR community on Reddit, but it's a bit intense.
It's getting a little toxic. It is getting a little toxic.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Yeah,
it's okay. Like I said, I'm okay with dealing with that stuff now.
Yeah.
Right. Oh,
follow me on Twitter.
Yeah, for sure. Keep up to date. You will keep up to date.
Yeah, he puts all kinds of cool clips on there too. Like if you want to see what's going on with it, what he's working on, where he's at with
updates
it.
And
really
stuff.
good ways.
And also, once the Kickstarter is live on the 2nd, we will have the link in the description too. So if you're watching this afterwards, not live, the link will be in there. So directly go right to the Kickstarter.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yep. Well, appreciate it, Blair.
Yeah, we definitely
appreciate you coming on. Yeah, we know we're excited to back it, and really, we just can't wait to see our robot in there.
I mean, we're gonna have to do that. We're gonna have to do
a coffee machine robot.
I don't know. It might be a little expensive.
Oh yeah, I haven't looked at the price yet.
You never know.
Maybe we're biting off more we can chew. But
I like you guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's awesome. Cool. But I mean, I'm more excited about the game now than I ever have been. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. So we definitely appreciate you. Maybe we'll have you back on at some point. You know, once the Kickstarter is live or down the road or whatever, and we'll try to keep everybody up to date. What is going on in the lo-fi world? So we definitely appreciate it.
Love to come back. Hopefully my internet's sorted out by then, so I don't have to hold my phone.
Yeah, we had some technical issues getting started, but we got it worked out, thankfully.
Yep, we did.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate being here, and definitely check out the Kickstarter, and we will catch you guys in the next one.
Yep.
Awesome.
See you guys.
Later, guys.
Later.
See ya.